It is officially the first day of spring, and we have a spring TBR to get into. Hello, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so very excited to have you here. It is officially the first day of spring, very excited for that, but that means that I also have a full spring TBR that we have to introduce. That way I can hold myself accountable for reading all of these books for the next few months. But first, I have an announcement. Chances are I will not be finishing all of these books physically before the end of spring, because the last month of spring, we will not be living here anymore. I will have all of my books packed up. Nick and I are going to be moving across country for a little while, and then we are going to buy a travel trailer to live in full-time and just travel full-time. So that's the plan, which is why this might be my last seasonal TBR for a while. Obviously, I've been talking a lot about getting my TBR knocked down, more specifically my physical TBR, and the goal of these TBR videos is to hold myself accountable for reading the books on my physical TBR and not just picking a bunch off of my Kindle. But since we are leaving, I'm not gonna have enough room to bring probably any of my books with me, so I'm probably just gonna leave all of my physical TBR here, packed away, and so I will not be able to touch them. So that being said, I have about the rest of March, I have all of April, and I have all of May to not only finish this spring TBR, but to try to get the rest of my TBR knocked down as much as possible. So that way I'm not coming back to a bunch of unread books that I'm just not really in the mood for because it's been however long since I've gotten them. Don't really care about them anymore. So that's the news, that's the update. In terms of what content's gonna look like moving forward, I'm not sure. Up until we leave, it's gonna be pretty much same old, but I think book content might look a little bit different. I might try to do more individual books instead of challenges, so just reviewing each book individually. Or maybe this might be my perfect opportunity to get into spoilers, because I know I've talked so much about wanting to just be a spoiler channel, and I just have not quite found the motivation and the courage to do that. And then probably I will shift a little bit more into travel / vlogging. Since we are going to be traveling and living in a trailer full time, I do want to expand on taking videos and editing videos and just really being creative with what I've been given. So I think that's something that I've always been interested in, and I finally have the opportunity to branch out a little bit. That being said, before I'm stuck solely reading off of my Kindle, I do want to get as many physical books knocked out as I can, and these are the ones that I plan on reading within the next couple months. Now, I did get all of my winter TBR situated. That is all done. I read everything on it. Snaps for me. I did a good job there. I didn't have anything to roll over to this one, so I decided to pick out a couple more. I think this time I have 12 instead of the usual 10 that I tried to stick to. So that might be a little bit of a challenge. Some of these are big books, so I'm nervous for that, but we're going to try our best. Like I said, I've got like 70 something books that I've got to get finished. So I don't know if I can read 70 books in 2 months, but we'll see. All that being said, without further ado, here is my spring TBR, all the books that I plan on reading this spring, and all the books that you are gonna help keep me accountable for getting knocked out before we leave. So I don't really have an order in the way that these need to go, because I'm not gonna be stacking them because I don't have room to stack them to where you can see them, but I probably shouldn't start with this one, but I'm going to anyways. First off, I feel like this is something that I need to read with ACOTAR 6 and 7 coming out within the end of the year and beginning of next year. I've been told I need to start Crescent City, so I have this up first on my list. Whether or not I get to this first, I don't know. Because I am in the middle of 2 fantasy series right now, I don't want to do too much combining. I don't want to do too much of reading them all together at the same time, because I feel like that's going to really confuse me, especially with being so confused with names and stuff like that in fantasy series. But I do plan on getting Crescent City knocked out. I do want to read all 3 of them before the other ones come out, but I will have a little bit more time. I have them physically, so I would like to read them physically, but you know, I got a bunch of other stuff that I gotta read too. And these are pretty chunky books. Really big books. I don't know how this is gonna work. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to do all this, but I'm just gonna try. So first up on the list, Book 1 of Crescent City. I'm gonna try to get through this, see what I think, and then get through the rest of them before I hit ACOTAR, because I definitely want to read those whenever they come out. Then, again, I said I'm still in the middle of a couple other fantasy series, and the other one that I am in the middle of is the 5 Broken Blades series. I need to finish 3 Shattered Souls. I'm very excited for this. I'm sad to have this end. I'm pretty sure that this is the end of the series. I'm pretty sure it's just a trilogy. But I'm sad. I'm sad that this is going to be ending if it is. I think that so far I've really enjoyed the characters. I've really enjoyed the direction of the story. I think the whole thing has been really fascinating, interesting, fun to read. I've liked it a lot. So I think that finishing it up is definitely something that I need to do, especially with going into Crescent City. I need to kind of dump all the fantasy knowledge that I can, get rid of that before I go into something really big and really serious. So I do have this one. Hopefully I can get this knocked out so that way I can have the whole series finished. I say hopefully I can get these knocked out. I'm going to. I'm gonna do it. 12 books in 2 months. I got this. Next up, I have The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. Sarafi, I don't know how to pronounce this. I have said this a bunch of times in other videos and I've just butchered it every single time, I feel like, so just ignore that. But I've had this one for quite some time now. I mean, a pretty long time, since the beginning of my channel, I'm pretty sure. I think this was featured in like my first video, but I need to get this read. I'm very excited and I love the cover of this. I think that this just looks so cool and it does look very springtime-esque for me, so I think that this will be the perfect opportunity to get this one done, get this one knocked out. I know that this is going to be a part of a series. I think book 2 is either out or coming out shortly. I think it comes out this year, so that'll give me an idea of if I do want to get the next book, I can. And then if I want to get it physically, I need to like pay attention to this stuff now because I'm gonna have to order books to my parents' house. But nonetheless, I am very excited to see what this one is all about and hopefully I enjoy it. Next, I don't know if this is the only romance that I have in this pile. I think it's about the only romance that I have in the pile, but I have Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is the last Emily Henry book that I have to read, so I would like to go ahead and get this one knocked out. I would like to see what this is all about. I think that this one will be super fun for the springtime. Once the pool opens, go out, hang out, read this at the pool. I think that'll be really nice. And we'll see what I think. This one I thought I was gonna read forever ago and I just didn't, but I have Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. I have been severely into like horror thriller and thriller books, like really good thrilling books. I definitely needed a thriller. I have a lot of fantasy, I have a lot of really intense, so I need like a nice good mystery type thing. Hopefully this one's good. I've heard that this one is not people's favorite from her, so we'll see what I think. I'm not gonna be mad either way. I think it'll still be fine. But I did need a thriller to break up all of the romantasy and fiction that I'm gonna be reading. Next, we have another chonker, and I need to get this one done because the series is on Netflix now. I didn't even know that there was a series for it, and I want to watch it with Nick. But we have 11/22/63. Very nervous for this one as well. I think Stephen King has a very interesting writing style, I have noticed. I think that his books are very realistic in the sense of the way that they're written. It's almost like every single conversation that's being had is just completely accurate to like a real world conversation. It's like he doesn't miss any detail that's put into a book. I mean, like, the stuff that you wouldn't expect to be written about is going to be written about. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just very ultra realistic of explaining or describing every little detail that happens that most people will just skip, leave out. And so I think because of that, it might be a little bit tricky. I think sometimes reading these types of books, they get a little bit overwhelming for me because there's so much detail in there. But nonetheless, I think that this one has potential to be a really good book. And like I said, I want to watch the series with Nick and I wanted to read the book before I watched it. So golden opportunity, got this one. I need to just go ahead and get it knocked out so that way we can watch it. These are all ones that just I have been saying or feeling like they need to be read in the springtime for quite a while now. So I need to get them knocked out. First up, we have Deep Cuts. I don't really know much about this one. I know that it's music related. I think that it's going to feel similar, loosely similar to Daisy Jones and the Six, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Not necessarily that time period, but like the same type of vibes with like the music and stuff. I think that it might be similar to that, so I do think that springtime is a nice time to get going on this one. Who knows? That could be wrong. I don't know and I don't care. It just feels like this is a good time for me to read it, so that's why it's on the list. This one is the only one that does not feel like spring, but I just need to read it because I can't get it on my Kindle, and that's Ring. I'm not gonna pronounce the author's name because I will butcher it. I don't even remember what this one was about. I know that it's some type of horror book, and I know that there's a lot of books in this series. I think it's a series, I don't even know. But like I said, I could not get this one on my Kindle. I don't think it's on Kindle Unlimited, and I don't think that I was able to grab it from the library. So I do need to get this one knocked out because I'm not gonna be able to take this one, and if I can't read it on my Kindle, then I'm just gonna have it sitting on my shelf, and that's a waste. So that's another thing. The books that I'm not able to get on my Kindle, I'm gonna have to read them before I leave, so that way I'm not just leaving them behind. So this is one of those. This is probably more of a summer book, but I have The House in the Cerulean Sea I've had this one for quite a while as well, so it needs to be read. I need to get going on it. I think that the house on the cliff doesn't look as springy, and also the trees are kind of dead. There's not any leaves coming off of them, so it's probably not really springy, but you know, it's probably just for the ominous vibes of the cover. But I think that this one's so cute. It's got the sprayed edges. I've wanted to read this one for so long and just kind of been putting it off. So it's probably going to be a nice, good opportunity to read this one. I'm very excited to see what I think, because a lot of people have already read it. This is me like slacking behind, per usual. Next, these are some of my most excited, anticipated books that I've had for quite a while, but I just have to read them in the springtime, and I've known that for a while. I've been waiting for the springtime to come around so I can get these. And we probably all know them at this point because I've talked about them nonstop. But I have the Road to Dalton. Tell me that this isn't just such a sweet cover. I just love it. I literally saw this at Books A Million and I was like, I need to get this one. So I did. I don't remember what it's about. I did read the cover and I think it sounded pretty interesting, or at least decently interesting enough to read it. So this one definitely looks springy. Very excited to finally dip my toes into this one and see what I think. And then next, these are my two probably most anticipated books ever. And I'm scared to read them because I'm scared that I'm not gonna like them as much as I feel like I'm going to like them. But only time will tell. I'm gonna have to figure it out, see what I think anyways. But I have Crossroads by Jonathan Franzen. I've had this book for so long, and it looks like it's gonna be such a good book. This is one of my favorite covers of all time. I've talked about this multiple times. We know this. This cover, love it. I'm obsessed with this cover. Even just like the writing on the back, like the coloring of it, crazy. And it's a floppy book. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. But I have wanted to read this for so long. Finally, I'm going to get around to reading it. I'm going to see what I think. I'll probably make a video with these two since they are on my most anticipated. But I'm excited. I'm so very excited to read this one, and this is the perfect opportunity. Imagine just going out, hanging out in the sun, and just reading this when it's not too hot, but it just feels nice and crisp outside. Very much need that. Very much excited for this one, but also very nervous. And then lastly, I have The Stranger in the Lifeboat. This book I have thought about. I have just wanted to read it for so long, but again, I'm just overhyped it in my head to the point where I feel like I'm going to try to read it and not like it as much as I feel like I'm gonna like it, which then in hand is going to just completely destroy me. I'm gonna be so disappointed and I'll never be able to get over myself. But this one, I think the premise of this sounds so interesting. I don't even know how to explain it, and I don't want to so I don't butcher it, but I have wanted to read this for so long. I just randomly saw it in Target and read the back of it, and I was like, that's an interesting concept. So I think this one's gonna really make me think, and I'm very excited for that. I definitely want to think and put my brain to good use. But I don't know, I like this. I want this to be a 5-star. So hopefully it's a 5-star. Hopefully it's a 5-star. We'll see though. We will see. That's what I wanted to happen. I can't do this. I'm gonna try one more time, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll give up. I'm giving up. But this, plus all the other books that are in my lap right now, is my Spring TBR. These are all the books that I'm going to read this spring. I'm gonna let you know what I think. And we are going to do videos to get all this knocked down. And I'm going to get as many physical books read as I can, so that way when I leave, I don't have a bunch left over. Let me know what you think of my Spring TBR. Let me know if some of these are just absolutely not good books to read in the spring. And also let me know what books that you have on your Spring TBR that you plan on reading before the summer comes. But that's it, that's all I got. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I so greatly appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one next week. See ya.